Hello, welcome to the Talkin Ball podcast brought to you by Infotainment Sports. In this episode, we're going to be reviewing everything week 2 and jumping into a preview for week 3. So our structure today is similar to the last episode. First quarter, talking about the first half of the week 2 games. Second quarter, getting into the second half of the week 2 games. The middle 8 portion, we're going to be talking more kickoffs, notable injuries, and some fantasy advice. Then third quarter, power rankings tier list update. So in our last episode, we covered that. We're updating our lists. And then quarter 4 is our week 3 preview and betting picks. So we've been keeping track of who we've told you to bet on and who's been right and not right so far. So without further ado, let's jump into quarter 1. First half of NFL week 2 games started Thursday night with Commanders at Packers. Commanders 18, Packers 27. It was a really fun game to watch as a Packers fan. What did you think?
Mike Parsons makes a difference, seeing that guy. It seems like every time he set foot on the field, he is disrupting the play in one way or another. And I thought that was pretty, not surprising. It's Micah Parsons. I can't remember. I don't know. Correct me. It might not have been you, but I had a different friend tell me that he knew Micah Parsons was a baller, but he didn't know to what magnitude until he started being able to watch him, so far through 2 weeks with the Packers. And I was like, oh yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, he's good. It's just like, I know Myles Garrett is good. I know TJ Watt's good, but it's like, until you see one of them playing on prime time where you get to actually watch him, or Micah's traded to the Packers, all of a sudden it's like, holy, we got one of them ones. So I actually sent it to you. I sent it to a couple of friends. I sent a picture of Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, and I said Micah Parsons and Xavier McKinney.
That's cool.
I was like, yeah, kind of giving those vibes. But that was my takeaway. Sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels. I know he's got a little bit of a knee thing coming out of that game. They just didn't look very good. Like they just looked. And I don't know, was it the Packers or was it Washington? So
I know, hard to say. To say that the Packers. Go ahead.
I just say I got that one wrong as far as the picks go. I thought Washington was going to have a little bit more life.
Yes, I believe I was on Green Bay in that one. So, it was a fun game as a Packer fan. Obviously, like you said, Micah Parsons just wrecks everything. I mean, his get off and the way he gets into the backfield and disrupts no matter what, every single play. Like there's not really a play off that he's not doing something. So it's been fun to watch so far. Next week, Packers play
at Cleveland.
At Cleveland, yeah. So that'll be a fun one to watch. See if it keeps going.
Yep.
In that regard. But yeah, Commanders, I agree. A little sluggish. Don't really know what happened there. Eckler also tore his ACL, so that'll be Achilles. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Everybody, Bill, we'll see. He had a rough game, so but he didn't get it too much. Let me see. He had 4 carries for 17 yards. So that's a 4 average, not too bad. But we'll see how he does as the lead back, unless they acquire someone like a Brian Robinson. You never know. Next game was Giants Cowboys. This is a wild one. 37-40. The Cowboys won by 3. I believe the line was 3.5.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Yep. Or 4.5. It was 4.5 for Dallas. We both picked Dallas. Kind of a wild one though. Malik Neighbors was waving goodbye or doing the sleep. I forget. He got that touchdown. He was kind of saying that the Giants won, and turns out they didn't.
Nope. No. Yeah. That game was incredible until it was still on Fox while the game of the week was on, which was the Eagles game. And even with Sunday Ticket, I was unable to watch the Eagles game because it said it was airing in my area. And I was like, oh, man. All right, get this garbage off, especially considering that Cowboys-Giants game was electric for 4 quarters. And then they got into the 5th quarter into overtime, and it was junk right after that. I was like, all right. Let's get this thing going. And of course, they brought it all the way down too. I was like, this thing's going to end in a tie, which actually would have been hilarious if it ended in a tie after all that. So
I felt like it was going to. I'm surprised it didn't,
honestly. Seriously, yeah. But my takeaway was the same. It was just one of those crazy games. Apparently, that was like the first time the Giants and the Cowboys have played at noon in like several years. Apparently, they usually get the 3:30 game or primetime game, which I thought that was interesting. But super electric, big fantasy output. Russell Wilson kind of had a little bit of a throwback to Seattle, and the Cowboys are competing with the Giants in a game. So I don't know what that says about Dallas. I mean,
maybe that's why Chicago's favored next week.
Yeah, I know.
I was surprised at the point output. Maybe that just speaks to how bad the Cowboys defense looks, because Russell Wilson did not look good week 1. So I was shocked to see that many points. But he actually had a really good game, like stats wise and throw wise. I don't know what got into him, but he kind of like earned his spot back. I think might silence some haters for a little bit. Though they lost. So
Dallas immediately after the game signed Jadeveon Clowney because they needed some pass rush, apparently. Go figure. Weird. So funny.
That is funny. Seahawks Steelers was 31-17. The line was pretty close on this one. We both went Seahawks, and we're definitely right there. Seahawks took care of business in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
We talked a little bit before we got started here. I think the scoreboard is kind of I don't know.
Misleading.
Yeah. Pittsburgh wasn't able to slow down the run by any means. They had a pretty ugly, Kenneth Walker scored on like 3rd and goal from the 20 on a broken run play. But the biggest play of the game, it was that sequence with Caleb Johnson. There was Rodgers throws an interception in the red zone, which honestly, it looked like it was going right for Freiermuth's hands. Calvin Austin tips it, intercepted. Seattle goes down, gets a field goal, ensuing kickoff. Caleb Johnson didn't know the rules. Ball goes over his head. It landed in the landing zone, lands in the end zone, live ball, and Seattle scoops it up. Touchdown. There's, potentially a 17-point swing if you count the Pittsburgh scoring there. If they didn't throw the interception. And they lost by 17. So it's like one of those things where it was like when I was watching that game, it was kind of like, okay, Darnold had thrown a couple of interceptions, like things were kind of moving, and then that thing happened, and it just seemed like it was just like over all of us, like that was it. And then Seattle got the run game going, leaky run defense by Pittsburgh, and that was a wrap. Seattle's defense maybe a little better than we thought. That's kind of what I was alluding to last week a little bit. I thought maybe they might be, show a little bit more promise, but also that Pittsburgh offensive line kind of.
Yeah, that was sort of my prediction too, is that the Steelers overperformed week 1. So definitely saw them coming down a little bit week 2. Seahawks, Charbonnet was not able to run very well. 15 carries, 10 yards. Walker, though, 13 for 105 yards for an 8 average and a touchdown. JSN, your guy did good, 8 catches, 100 yards.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
You're fine. Go ahead.
I was just say the one thing with that Kenneth Walker to Charbonnet thing, because I was texting a buddy back and forth about it, and he has Charbonnet, and he was like, "What the heck?" But that broken run play, like Kenneth Walker didn't really do much.
Yeah,
like,
not
just anything against Kenneth Walker. It was 20 yards, and it was an easy walk-in. So, but I mean, he still had almost 100 yards without that run. So,
yep. All right. Next is Rams Titans. Rams 33, Titans 19. So Rams took care of business on the road. I believe both were on the Rams here, and we're definitely right about that one. Rams look good. Titans didn't have enough. Any big takeaways?
No, I didn't really pay attention to that. I mean, Cam Ward is a dog. He made one incredible touchdown throw. I mean, one of those.
That was so wild. That's like one of the ones where you're like, everybody tells you not to do that, but he threw it. Right. He threw it far enough in front of the receiver where like
perfect.
He's kind of a dog. Yeah. Normally I'm like, let's not praise this behavior, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think I saw something from week 1. Maybe you said it last week or whatever, when he had that like crazy backwards throw, like no look thing or whatever, and it was a completed pass. And somebody on Twitter or something was saying that like Cam Ward is doing what Will Levis was trying to do, basically, like some of these plays. Yeah. And I thought that was kind of funny. So, but that was my only takeaway. Puka Nacua, dog. Cam Ward, dog. Rams 1 plus.
Adams had 100 yards and a touchdown as well.
Yep.
Kyron did not get a touchdown. He normally always does.
That anytime didn't hit, baby.
Okay, next is Bills Jets 30-10. We were both on the Bills. Jets did not look very good this week compared to last.
I think we were
Or
both
you?
on the
No, we were both on the Jets. Sorry, yeah, we
Yeah.
both got that way off. Yeah,
Yeah. We thought they were going to at least cover. I think I said, I don't think they're going to win, but they're going to cover. They did not cover anything. They covered up a couple of fumbles after they fumbled, but that was about it. Yeah, I think that week 1 was a little deceptive. And if you look at it, the Jets and Steelers played, and it's just like, oh, these two teams. Look at, and then you come back after week 2, and it's kind of like, are both those teams trash? Maybe.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Steelers and so I mean it's a ongoing season. There's a lot of development in all the teams and what they're going to actually be their final form towards the end of the year. But it's all stuff we're learning. But Bills absolutely dominated.
Yeah, I mean, looks like I'm looking at stat line. Josh Allen was only 14 to 25 for 148 yards, so he didn't even blow anybody out of the water. But it was definitely enough. Cook had 20 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. So they were just rolling over him. I think they didn't need to do much.
Yeah.
Fields
concussion.
Left with a concussion. He's out for week 3. Even that didn't look great. I think Tyrod Taylor might actually be good to step in next week and hopefully right the ship a little bit. But yeah, that was a little crazy. After that game, we have Patriots Dolphins. That was 33-27. Dolphins kept it close. I believe I had picked them. You picked the Patriots. I was glad to see the Patriots win, but also I had picked the Dolphins, so I don't know how I feel about that. But it looked a little bit better for the Dolphins. Patriots, I'm proud of. That's kind of what I was hoping would come out of week 1, but didn't look that good week 1. Takeaways in this one?
I mean, Dolphins stink. I mean, I sent you that clip from Twitter and the most clutch, when you got to have it at the end of the game. There was all sorts of discombobulation. They had just poor clock management by Tua in the offense. They were running stuff down to get delayed games. They're running stuff down where they're trying to motion with like 5 seconds left on the play clock. And this is like, you got to have it towards the end of the game. And then my guy Milton Williams showed up in the Super Bowl for us, got paid a fat bag by the Patriots, and he showed up. I think he had 1, maybe 2 sacks. For sure 1, he had the game sealer. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins stink. I don't know. This is one of those ones where I don't know how to judge the Patriots because how bad do the Dolphins stink? I'm not sure. So, but I was happy to see myself kind of be right about the Dolphins again for another week. I'm not cheering on their downfall, but I've been on it, and I don't know. This is what I was expecting from the Patriots. You're a big Drake May guy, right? Yeah.
19 of 23, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he was pretty clinical.
Yeah, probably love to see that.
His 4 throws, looked really good.
That throw to Ramondre Stevenson was nice down the side.
He's a solid quarterback, and he's processing really well. So I like the way he's developing.
Yep.
Excited to see more.
Yep.
Jaguars Bengals. That was 27-31. Bengals Joe Burrow, big injury, still able to pull out the win against the Jags. So that was a little wild. I believe I was Bengals, you were Jags in that one. But yeah, big injury for Burrow. Is he out for 3 months? 2 months? Yeah, grade 3 turf toe.
Yeah. I did some YouTube. I popped into YouTube and was like, what's turf toe like? And I guess it's where your toe connects with your foot, and grade 3 means ligaments torn. So sounds like they ripped his damn toe off pretty near. So
yeah, I can't believe it's called turf toe. It just sounds like an unserious thing.
It sounds like you stubbed your toe.
Yeah, but I guess maybe there's more eyes on it now. People will take it more seriously. But it sounds horrible, and it sounds like it'd be hard to play with. So I don't blame him at all for being out that long.
For
surgery and whatever.
Yeah,
minimum of 3 months. It says earliest would be week 15 return. So that kills a lot of hope for the Bengals.
Yeah, it does. Jake Browning though, he's not good. Great. Yeah. Well,
why is there so much talk about them bringing another quarterback? I thought people liked Jake Browning.
I know they signed Mike White to the active roster. I think they did something else, because I think when you're talking about other quarterbacks, like if they're going to go trade for Kirk Cousins, or if they're, I heard that is a Twitter rumor maybe, but I think it's probably because like Jake Browning's okay for a few games if he has to be, but like, is he good for an extended, entire season? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I had that game on and I was watching it. That was one of the games that I had on my quad box at noon, and I watched most like almost every play from it. Takeaway for me from that thing. Did you watch a lot of that game?
I did. Yeah, I had that one on. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like the Jags defense plays kind of there like an opportunistic defense. They got 3 turnovers on Browning when they had any tips and overthrows. They were on them. They got a lot of pressure. Defensive line. Trayvon Walker was looking pretty good. But the offense was like Trevor Lawrence. I think I said after the game, Trevor Lawrence might be Carson Wentz. And I kind of want to draw that back a little bit. That might be a little early on that because he had a lot of throws that were there. And then his De'Ami Brown drops a touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. didn't want to play football at all. It seemed like
he did not want to get hit and still managed to get hurt.
Yeah. And I know there was some over the middle that it was like there's 2 Bengals bearing down on one, and he just threw his hand up and it tipped off. Interception. Yeah. And then he had one that was on he caught it. It hit him in the chest on it was like a, kind of he sat down on it, hit him right in the chest on the 2-yard line, would have been a first down, could have, potentially fallen in, just straight up dropped it. But then, Trevor Lawrence also had, bad plays. He had that one penalty was just absurd. It's one of the most absurd penalties ever is when a quarterback is 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and they still throw it. And I'm like, do you have no idea where you're at on the field? It's crazy. Yeah. So
thanks.
To blow a lead like that and also to lose by 4 when you're favored by 3.5 is kind of annoying, but or 3.5 dogs and you lose by 4 is kind of yeah, I don't know. It was just frustrating. It's frustrating. They should have really won that. What did you think of the Joe Burrow not fumble in the beginning? It was it was the first drive for the Bengals. Did you see that one at all?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, anyway, he was going to throw it, and as he was here, arm coming forward, ball gets hit and pushed, and it comes out. To me, I thought, regardless if his arm's going forward, it's a backwards pass. And whether it's a fumble or not, or whether it's a pass or not, it looked like a fumble to me. That would have been scooped up for the Jags. Touchdown. Jags go up 14-0. There's just a lot of weird stuff. Jags should have blew the Bengals out, and yet they lost by 4. So
crazy.
Yeah, they got to get some stuff figured out in Jacksonville. But.
Yep. I'll add quickly on the Jags and Brian Thomas. Maybe he's like the next Randy Moss, where he doesn't go over the middle. He's a very talented outside receiver, but can't do over the middle routes. He looks scared. I don't know if that's going to change, but he does not want to get hit, and that really affected this game.
For sure.
And then what about the Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen exchange? Any thoughts on that, or just kind of a little worrisome?
That was actually kind of where I started thinking the Carson Wentz thing, because when I watched Carson Wentz when he was with the Eagles, it's you see the best out of him, and it's just wow, that's crazy, magical stuff. Wentz was going for MVP, super talented, but then he still had boneheaded plays. But the biggest thing with Wentz towards the end of his Eagles career was there was a lot of stuff coming out about him not being a locker room guy, and him and Doug Peterson kind of butting heads was and I just saw it as that's a bad relationship. But you've also seen, in the Super Bowl, how many years ago, Travis Kelce go up and knock Andy Reid out or whatever. When he came up to him and was yelling. So it's when you're in the heat of the battle, we'll see going forward, but it's definitely something where I'm just my ears are, I'm interested in it. I'm curious to see how it develops, but I do like how Liam Cohen seems to be calling the offense though. They have motions and good run game. ETN had another good week. So I'll just be curious. I hope Trevor Lawrence can work within the system. This is going to be his best opportunity to kind of get it fixed in Jacksonville. Definitely his last opportunity, I'd have to assume, in Jacksonville.
Yep. Next one is 49ers Saints, 26-21. The spread was supposed to be 49ers -3. I had picked the Saints. You picked Niners, so you're right on that one. Rattler, I think, had 2 or 3 touchdowns. I forgot to check the stats on that.
Yeah, he didn't look bad.
Yeah, actually, not too bad. But Mac Jones filled in nicely. He had 279 yards, 3 touchdowns on 26-39, so not the most efficient, but they're still slinging it around, almost 40 pass attempts with the backup. So it goes to show how Kyle Shanahan feels about having Mac Jones. Made me feel a lot more confident in them, actually, just how things were going. Although I think the Saints are a horrible team and they only won by 5, I still feel pretty pretty good about the Niners coming out that way.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Not much. I didn't really pay too much attention. Shout out to Bryce Huff, the Eagle that was inactive in the Super Bowl last year because we didn't use him properly. If you don't know who Bryce Huff is, he's a closer. He's a sack specialist. He gets in there at the late in the game and he steals it, and that's exactly what he did for the Niners. If you want to see an entertaining pass rush, go jump on Twitter and type in Bryce Huff sack, and it was like. So ball was snapped and he was on Rattler instantly, and that was the fumble that ended the game. So that's the only thing I have. Shout out Bryce Huff.
Sweet. All right, that was the first 8 games. That'll do it for quarter 1. Let's get into quarter 2. All right, starting quarter 2 now. This is the second half of the week 2 games in the NFL, starting with the Browns and the Ravens. I don't remember the spread. It was a lot, but we both had the Ravens, and definitely they covered that 41-17.
Yeah.
Home, just kind of a crazy good game for the Ravens. Kind of reaffirms what I was thinking about them after the Bills game, just that they look so good. The first half was actually a little slow. I have Lamar in one of my fantasy leagues and was kind of disappointed in his performance. Then he just lit it up in the second half. So all my doubts are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Derrick Henry, and I was disappointed. He only had like 5 fantasy points. It was definitely a throw the ball around the yard game. I sent it to you. I had that one little parlay deal, and Henry over like 90 yards total yards or something, and he didn't even get close to that. So, but you were on that one. So I thought for sure they were going to be just lighting it up, but they did, and it was through the air. So they held, I think, Henry under 30 yards or 50 yards or something like that, and they held
23 yards.
23, so under 25 yards, and Lamar had like 13. So run defense pretty good in Cleveland, and pretty vulnerable through the air. So
Devontae Walker had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think 2 catches, 2 touchdowns.
And then Hopkins had that one that they ruled down at the 1 and they weren't able to score, but then he had another one later. But that was kind of crazy that he got ruled down at the 1. They had 3 chances and couldn't get in the end zone.
I thought for sure I was getting a Henry touchdown too. I was like, oh man, this got to be a Henry. And they didn't even try. They just ran 3 or 4 pass plays right after that or something.
Yeah, but crazy.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Cleveland's offense if they did anything. That game I only saw it on Red Zone, which means I only saw it when the Ravens scored, basically.
Yeah, the only thing I'll note, sort of garbage time, Dylan Gabriel came in the last drive, let him down the field 3 for 3 and a touchdown. So I don't know. I believe in Dylan Gabriel. I think he throws with good anticipation and kind of like has a good mind. So I'm excited to see if they give him more shots, but obviously Joe's the guy for now and for a while, but I was excited to see him play well. Judkins was playing his first game. I was surprised at how much he played for just like signing this past week. But he looked like he had some bursts and mixed in with Dylan Sampson. I thought was pretty fun. Next one, Bears-Lions. That was 21-52. Detroit came to play. We both were on the Lions that game and we were very right. This one got out of hand a little bit because I think the first half was a lot closer and the Bears were actually scoring quite a bit, and then the Lions just dominated the second half. But it was good to see Detroit do so well. Well, actually, I guess it was 14-28 at the end of the first half, so kind of domination all around. But Bears were able to get 3 touchdowns, just their defense did not hold anything.
No. Yeah, I did, again, another game, only ever saw it on Red Zone, didn't really pay attention to it too much, figured this was going to be the outcome. I had, I think, Montgomery in like a DraftKings lineup, didn't win anything, but I saw that he did well. I saw Amon-Ra had 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, I have him in our dynasty. He scored. That's about it. I know Chicago's missing Jalen Johnson, their top cornerback, and they're missing I don't know, they've got a slew of injuries on defense, and they just kind of stink right now, so I'm still trying to figure it out. And the Lions they're pissed off. They got beat by the Packers in week 1. It's their home opener. It's Ben Johnson, so Chicago is just on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, Amon-Ra had 9 catches. The rest of the team, the most was 3. So Gibbs had 3, Laporta had 3, Brock Wright had 3. Jameson Williams had 2 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. So
Yeah.
there's those people that are doing that interesting betting strategy now where you bet like the over on yards and touchdowns and the under on receptions for like a parlay that pays out better. And that would have definitely hit for him.
Interesting.
Yeah. It like increases your odds because it's unlikely to happen. And people have been hitting that lately with guys like Jameson Williams. But yeah, good to see the Lions do well. I'm surprised Bears are favored in this next week's matchup against the Cowboys, especially after getting to beat down like that. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe one of us will pick them.
Yeah.
Broncos Colts. This was a close one. The Colts ended up winning this one in the end. I was watching this whole game and I still don't really understand how the Colts won this game. It was kind of wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they played well, but I just don't know how it happened.
Yeah. I love that game. That one felt like a playoff. Like it felt like 2 decent teams. I don't know if I'm down on the Broncos after that or if I'm up more on the Colts, but I thought it was like a good game. I felt like it was so entertaining. That was another one that was, well, I guess that one was going on during the Eagles game, so I just had those 3 p.m. games going on at the same time with Sunday Ticket. But yeah, it was he misses the field goal, and then there's a penalty on the Broncos because they were pushing on the center, and you can't do that. You can't touch the center. Long snapper on it, and gets a re-kick and sends it through. It was kind of a crazy game for sure, but
Yep, it was wild. Jonathan Taylor had 165 yards. That was kind of wild. Daniel Jones 300 yards.
yeah,
It's just
Tyler
looking good for him. Tyler Warren's a
dog.
80 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they're involving him so much. This is kind of like how I pictured them using him, but he's doing really well for a rookie.
Yeah,
he's coming out hot.
I saw that on McAfee show they were highlighting a play. They had him motion from the end, line up at the fullback position, play action to Jonathan Taylor, and then they had Tyler Warren like run a 7 route like up the seam, and it was such a cool, like a creative play call, I guess, on how they're using him, and it's like, especially considering they could hand it off to him in that situation too, because he's taking handoffs, so it's kind of crazy. But I don't know. Colts are fun. We'll see if it's the Jim Irsay magic, if they're running on some inspiration off of that, or I personally think they look pretty sharp with Daniel Jones at the helm, and we've talked about it before, but the Sam Darnolds, the Baker Mayfields, like
Get out of New York.
Maybe Danny Indiana Jones is coming around. So, but I was on the Colts plus 2.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I mentioned you were on the Colts. I was on the Broncos. I was surprised that Denver didn't come to show. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest Denver fan this year, but I was not expecting them to lose to Indy, so that was crazy, and you got it right.
Yeah.
Next one after that was Panthers Cardinals. Panthers 22, Cardinals 27. The line was Arizona minus 6.5. We both thought that Carolina was going to keep it closer than that, and we were right. So that was interesting to see. I think it was just my lack of faith in the Cardinals, and I thought the Panthers would play better, and I think they did. So I was all in on a Tet touchdown. Didn't happen, but he did look good otherwise. He had a good stat line.
Yep. Yeah, that one, Carolina kind of a backdoor cover. I think Arizona was kind of beating up on them for a little bit there. To me, that game I felt like was 2 bad teams. I guess it kind of felt like, what was it, the Cardinals and the Saints last week? It's kind of like just 2 bad teams kind of trying to not be the worst.
Yeah.
First half, the Panthers were the worst, and the second half, the Cardinals were the worst. Is kind of how I felt. And I don't know. Arizona seems like a team that should be better, like roster-wise. When you look at their roster, you'd think, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The first half was 20-3 in the Cardinals' favor. Second half was 19-7 in the Panthers' favor. So Cardinals just kind of won it in the first half and didn't really matter after that. Yeah. Bryce Young had 55 pass attempts. So
his poor little arm.
328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. But yeah, Ted had 100 yards. But yeah, his poor little arm. That's a lot of passes.
Yep. I think Ted had another circus catch on the sidelines that was out of bounds.
That was wild.
He's had 2
jumped
now.
Up and reached around. Yeah.
It's insane.
That was a cool one. Next is your game of the week, Eagles Chiefs. Eagles pulled that one off 2017. The line was slim. It was Philadelphia -1.5. You actually picked the Kansas City Chiefs. I knew the Eagles would take it, so I was right in that one. So obviously you were probably paying more attention to this game than I was. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was locked into that one. Well, I was annoyed at the start, obviously, because we had to watch the dumb Giants Cowboys play mediocre football in overtime after lighting it up. But I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I'm still trying to figure this Eagles team out. So far, it seems like the defenses are just playing the Eagles to stop the run, but then their coverage on the back end is like they're bracketing AJ. They're in this game specifically, Kansas City lit up Philadelphia with blitzes. At one point, I think they blitzed them like, I want to say I saw like 70% of the time or something like that. At one point, I saw it was like 60. I don't know, a lot. It was like a lot of plays. They were getting blitzed. The one big play through the air was a really good play. If you want to see it fully broke down, find Dan Orlowski on Twitter. He had a full breakdown of the one play I'm going to talk about here. But Saquon in the backfield for protection. Ball is snapped. It's out of shotgun. Saquon jumps off to the left, picks up block over there. Jalen has a free blitzer right in his face, and he just launches that thing up. The ball's in the air for forever, and Devontae Smith comes down with it on like the 5 or 3, and then we go through this whole tush push bit, which false starts. There were false starts. It's true. I'm not going to deny that. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of to the point where it's like once this thing's banned and we're still winning and scoring and it is what it is, like whatever. But yeah, I don't know. For me right now with how the Eagles are, it's like they're getting wins. I feel better about this than I did in 2023, the year after we lost the Super Bowl. I had a little bit more concern. There is some concern with, if you're a fantasy owner of Devontae Smith or AJ Brown. There is some concern with the play calls because like the routes that the Eagles are running, it's just like the offense isn't creative. Like Kellen Moore's the head coach in New Orleans now, and he had a little bit more creativity on the offense. So, but season still young, and there's a lot to be made of it. Lot of development and stuff like that. And our offensive line has kind of been playing poor. Like there's a shot play to start the game. It would have been to AJ Brown, and it was there, but Grant Calcaterra, Dallas Goedert was out for this game. Grant Calcaterra, our backup tight end, was in, couldn't pick up the backside pressure, and Jalen didn't have time to get it off. But although Jalen didn't have much for stats, I thought he played pretty well based on like decision making. He didn't turn the ball over, and I don't even know, it might have been a sack in there or something, but for the most part, he did what he could, I guess. So. And I don't know if you saw did you see that exchange at the end of the game with Chris Jones?
No. Well, I saw him getting pissed. Oh, yeah. And Hurts said that we won the fucking game.
Yeah. He's like, you ain't even got 100 yards. And then who won the fucking game? Shut your ass up. Snaps the ball and takes the knee. I was like, oh, my God. That's why we love him. That's why we love him. But, yeah, that was kind of my takeaway. I don't know. Are the Chiefs bad? I don't know. Because, I mean,
started 0-2.
Mahomes throws an interception on a ball that hits Kelsey in the hands that he usually catches, and it's deflected off his hands. Makuba, the rookie, picks it off, right inside the end zone and returns it, 30, 40 yards out of the end zone. And, I don't know. Chiefs can't get the run game going. I thought Pacheco was going to be better than what he is. They just seem like they stink. Tyquan Thornton, though, apparently we're just going to throw it to him as far as we can.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my analysis of that whole thing. I thought our defense played pretty well, considering. So
yeah, I think the Chiefs will be fine. They really miss Rice more than we thought. I like you said, I would have expected Kelsey to be like more involved, but I don't know. 0-2, but I think part of that's just the Chargers are good too. The Chargers, in my opinion, are a good team this year, and the Eagles obviously defending champs. So just a tough slate to start the year for them. I think they'll kind of get it figured out. And then to the Eagles' point, it's only 2 games in, but I feel like maybe people have had some time to like study and like figure out a different game plan for them. And so far, I think they're just not as dominant, but they're still getting the wins. So
yeah,
we'll see how that shakes out over time.
Yeah. It didn't look good for the Eagles to start the year last year too. And that's like, I think one thing that taught me last year is that it is a full season. You have to let the whole season develop. Like we started out 2-2 and it is what it is, but
Sunday night game was Falcons Vikings 22-6. The Falcons won. So that was kind of a snooze fest. Lots of field goals. The new backup kicker, or maybe new starting kicker for the Falcons, Parker Romo, had 5 field goals, 5 for 5.
Yeah. Yep.
And JJ McCarthy did not look as good. Got hurt in this one. He looked pretty skittish. So I don't know what happened in quarter 4 of the first week, but it was not happening on this night. So
yeah. That one was definitely a snooze fest. I don't really have much. We were both on Atlanta, so we both got that one right. I think Atlanta's defense is actually like good this year, much better than what they were. They've got a couple of rookies back there. I know Xavier Watts, rookie from Notre Dame. He's looked good. They've got, I don't know what college he went to, but I think he's their slot corner, number 33. He had an interception. James Pierce Jr., they got in the first round. He had some pressures. So I thought their defense played good. Yeah. So
Leonard Floyd, is it they have?
Leonard Floyd is he's the vet that they picked up too, so they added him into the pass rushing mix. So
yeah, that guy's huge. I saw him the post game interview. Yeah, over there. He's just ginormous.
Yeah.
But I think just all of the help that they picked up over the offseason is gonna help them this year. Offense obviously got stopped for all those field goals. I would like to see them convert more often. Bijan looks good.
He's nice.
Yeah,
he's silky smooth.
So good. But yeah, just the converting, I think, needs to improve with them. I think they're a solid team, but they need to convert more stuff. Yeah.
Did you see that broken play where it was a bad snap and it turned out to be like a direct snap to Bijan?
Yeah, he kind of false started a bit and ran the way and just took the ball. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and it was like kind of off to the left of Penix too, and it was supposed to be a passing play, and they're like, all right, Bijan was just like,
everyone still rushed the passer. They didn't even see him run right past him with the ball.
Yeah, add that to the playbook.
Yeah, they should. But yeah, kind of snooze fest. The first Monday night game was Buccaneers at Texans. Buccaneers pulled this one out 20-19. Kind of a crazy game, crazy end. Wild roller coaster there. We both had Texans and were wrong, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, Houston was covering it until the end when Baker decided that they weren't going to cover it anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, Baker's just such a dog. He's so fun to watch, and he's always in it.
Yeah.
Never not giving up on it.
Yep. I love seeing him getting chippy and chirping with CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, after he got hurt. He hurt his leg, and then it's like
he's down
priorities. He pops up and starts talking.
Yeah. That dog in him. But yeah, I thought Houston's offensive line is terrible. Their defense is nasty though. Houston's defense will hit you in the mouth. Like every single guy on that team just smacks, it seems like. And they all have an attitude on that Houston defense. Danielle Hunter, he's like one of the most underrated pass rushers of our generation.
Yeah,
easily.
Amazing.
He's like the 7th fastest to 100 sacks or something like that in his career. Watching him and Will Anderson come off the edges, it was like Baker's a dog because he took some hits from those guys for sure. They had and this is why I think I said it. This is why I kind of took Houston, was because their defense and the defensive line going up against Tampa Bay's offensive line. At one point, Tampa Bay had their center playing left tackle because of injuries, and he immediately gets bull rushed by Danielle Hunter. Go figure. But it was impressive to see what Baker did out there, considering because Houston's defense and special teams were carrying the load for Houston. Houston's offense was bad. They need like a Laramie Tunsil or something. They shouldn't have traded him to Washington.
I know, right? That's wild. I don't know what's happening with Houston's offense. They're just not.
I think it's the O line. I seriously think it's the O line. The O line is so bad
they have to find a way around. I mean, obviously they're bad. They have to
Yeah.
find a way to do some quick game stuff, or like I
Gotta
don't know. They
figure
got to
it out.
find some way to like compensate for it because I
Totally.
mean, leading receivers Nico with 3 catches, Dalton Schultz had 3 catches. They're not getting either of the rookies involved. Higgins had 1 catch. Noel's not on the field. Believe
Yeah.
Kirk is still hurt.
Yep.
He's not playing.
I'll say Noel looked good on kick return and punt return though.
He's such a solid player. I'm excited for him to play. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe because he's a rookie and learning, but I want to see him on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But they might as well try it. They're 0-2. Do something different. Mm-hmm. Latter Monday night game was Chargers Raiders. I think the Chargers are still rolling. Raiders did not look so good. Genty's struggling still, 2 yards of carry. That line is not blocking worth anything. No. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first passing play of the game for Geno was intercepted. It was a terrible. Tries to hit the seam, stares down the seam. Safety jumps it. Ball's deflected, intercepted, and I mean, honestly, it was kind of a wrap from there. They did not look good on offense. Yeah. Genty is like, I don't know. I feel like we as like, especially like with the fantasy football and betting world that we're in now, is everybody wants everything right now and so fast, and everything needs to be, and that's where like everybody was like, oh, Marion Hampton and Genty are bad and it's no good, this sucks, and our draft picks and blah blah blah. But it's like it's their second game of their NFL career. Yeah. Genty's case, he's kind of playing on like maybe a little bit of a shitty offense, maybe, we don't know. Yeah. So I think there's just a lot of like, we got to chill out and let these guys have a chance to develop and, you know, play. I think Geno had a bad game. I think Jacoby Myers had like 12 targets and like 2 should have been for a touchdown or something like that if Geno didn't ruin that. I don't know. I turned it off with about 12 minutes left in the game.
It was bad.
Why are we starting a football game at 9 p.m.? Obviously, we're central time, but the people on the East Coast, 10 p.m. start is so rough.
No way.
And if you look at the schedule, we have like 2 or 3 more doubleheader Monday nights coming up. Like there's a couple that are coming up that are, one game starts at 6 and one starts at 7, so we can double box it and stuff. But there's another couple that are 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. and I'm like, ugh.
I hope the ratings reflected how people felt about that one. I hope that they did not do as well. I think Genty still looks good. I think the offense has just looked bad. The line has looked bad. The offensive scheme of the ball has been bad. Bowers hurt. But Genty, I think when he got space or opportunities, he looked fine. I'm not worried about it. I just need the Raiders to start playing better. Geno, was 24 of 43 with 3 interceptions, 180 yards.
God.
So, and on the contrary, Herbert only had to pass 27 times, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hampton with that big fumble. Unfortunately, they're getting Najee in there a little bit. So, yeah, awesome. That was it for the second quarter. Finished would we go overall?
Yeah, I was going to ask you how do we do overall?
So of our picks from last week, I was 10-6 and you were 9-7. So I edged you out a little bit.
I improved though. I was 8-8 last week. You went 10-6. You're back to back 10-6.
Yep. If you want to go 10-6, go with my picks.
All right.
It rhymes. Let's get into the middle 8. All right, getting into our middle 8 section. Today we're going to be talking about some fun stuff. Last time we talked about kick returns, and we're going to continue that again today. Just talk about how fun they are and some different impacts it had on some of the games. What do you have?
Yeah, I took some notes because kick returns are back and they're electric again. I took note from the Dolphins-Patriots game. Dolphins get a punt return touchdown, 74 yards by Malik Washington. And on the ensuing kickoff, Antonio Gibson cribs that thing for 90 yards, and that's a touchdown. So 2 special teams touchdowns back-to-back. Pretty electric. And then also the electricity coming from the Pittsburgh game with Caleb Johnson, different kind of electricity, more electric for Seattle, but him not knowing the rules, that ball landing in the landing zone, live ball, got to get on it. And it's just added an element to the game this year where it's fun. You don't usually, when somebody scores a touchdown, they kick the extra point. Now we can go grab snacks. Now we can go to the bathroom because now, nothing's coming up, but now it's a little bit electric. I wanted to bring up too a little bit about how We have it in one of our dynasty leagues. I implemented the scoring for it. It's 1 point per 25 yards, 6 points for a touchdown. And I've just been keeping an eye on it. This really, as far as fantasy football goes, applies for if you have a 12 team league and it's a very deep league, like deep starters, you're starting like 2 or 3, 4 flex players, or if you're a 14, 16 team redraft league, maybe this is something that you'd want to consider. Otherwise, dynasty leagues, I think this is important because you get into, bye weeks and injuries. Some of these guys could actually, I think, make a difference down the stretch for somebody. So one being, I wrote down Antonio Gibson. So he had that 90-yard kick return touchdown, and he had 16.1 total fantasy points in our league. 9.6 of them specifically came from that touchdown run, and then he had 12.8 total fantasy points from special teams, the rest coming from offense. So he had
Nice.
six kick returns for 171 yards and a touchdown. So
Wow.
if you're looking at, the scoring for it's 0.04 per yard, which you're looking at the same scoring or similar scoring to quarterback scoring, 1 point per 25 yards. So, and then I wanted to bring up Kevontae Turpin because I have him in our dynasty league, and he's been on my bench. But the way Dallas uses him is they manufacture 5 to 7 touches for him on offense every week. This week he had 4 catches for 47 and a touchdown. But he's also there, like he's a weapon in the return game as far as kick return and punt returns go. So like this week he had a total of 18.9 fantasy points, and he had 4 kick returns for 100 yards. So not only did he have the 4 for 47 and a touchdown through the air, but then he gets an additional, 4. It's only 4 points on the kick returns, but it's still 4 points. And I don't know. I've just been nerding out about this stuff, and I think the kick return stuff is kind of like it. I don't know. In the right leagues, in the deepest of leagues and stuff like that, I think it's something where like a guy like Turpin, if I'm in bye week hell and I have injuries going on, like Turpin might see the field, and I just have to like. His floor now goes from, 0 without the punt return, kick return, and then all of a sudden he gets that random touchdown on offense. To now his floor is, if he's getting 25 yards per kick return and he's getting 4 to 6, you're looking at a floor of 4 to 6 points. Not that much, but when you're talking about a guy that's getting manufactured touches in the offense and that chance for a touchdown, I think there's something there in deeper leagues and deeper formats. So, and Debo too. There's another part of it too, is where you have starters. Debo had two returns for 78 yards on Thursday night against Green Bay. So now you're looking at a guy that gets an extra just over 3 points. So I think he ended with like 14 regular and then 17 after the kick return points. So there's just something there, and it adds a little juice. Obviously, we're not starting defense and special teams like a unit in our dynasty leagues where we don't do any defense or kickers. So there's that element to it, but it's just been really fascinating to me. So I might keeping track of it, and the more we see kick returns, it's exciting. I don't know.
It is. I agree. I've been enjoying seeing people take him out more, and just thinking about the past about how like every kick return was like 10 yards or like less, or fair catches, and now we actually got some action there where it's more fun to watch the games. And it makes deeper leagues some guys more valuable. I like the Turpin Debo call outs for sure. If that's it on kick returns, how about some fantasy advice? I believe you had a little bit of fantasy advice for those guys who play.
Simple fantasy advice: fill your rosters. If you have a guy go out, if he's inactive on Sunday morning or something like that, and you put him on your IR. In our dynasty league, we've got 5 IR spots. It's a little bit niche maybe of a league because of how deep it is, but there's a lot of leagues out there. And I think about that league, it's a super flex league. Well, guess who was a free agent this week? Jake Browning and Carson Wentz. So now if I would have been playing it right, or if somebody in the league would have been playing it right, they have an inactive, one of those rookies that you're trying to stash, throw them on there, and then starter goes down because we've got a lot of injuries. I'll let you talk about here in a second. But fill your rosters. I'm going to try and add Jimmy Garoppolo. I look at the right situations, and the right offenses that I'd want to back up. I don't think I would want Gardner Minshew if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. If he can't operate that offense, I don't think Gardner Minshew can. But looking at guys like, Carson Wentz, Jake Browning, good situations, those are the guys I would say, add to the team and fill up the roster, especially in Superflex.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, talking injuries, we've got Joe Burrow. We talked about that one earlier, that grade 3 turf toe, out at least 3 months till like week 15 probably. Jake Browning, the backup you mentioned, good pickup on waivers. There's been some rumblings of other quarterbacks coming in, like a Kirk Cousins, or people calling for Jameis a little bit. But I don't know. I think Jake Browning does well enough. That would be fun. Jaden Daniels had a knee sprain. There's hasn't been a lot of news on if he's going to be out for that or not, but knee sprain doesn't sound very fun, but seems like a guy who could play through it. Fields' concussion already ruled out, so Tyrod Taylor's going to be starting for a week. Hopefully Fields looks better when he comes back. Eckler tore his Achilles, unfortunately. Bill owners rejoice, but sad for Eckler. He was doing pretty well. Kind of had another chance at having a good year. Out in week 2 already, so that was pretty sad to see. JJ McCarthy and Aaron Jones both got injured. Jones was a hamstring. He's out for a while. I believe he got placed on IR. Yep.
And they got a week 6 bye, so he'll be out until at least the week 6 bye.
Yep. So fire up Jordan Mason, who's looked good.
They also signed Cam Akers. Cam Akers was there a little bit last year, so he's familiar with the offense. So.
Yep. And then McCarthy could miss 2 to 4 weeks. He had an ankle, a sprained ankle. Is like a high ankle sprain, maybe.
Yep.
Just a sprained ankle in general. Brian Thomas got an injury report somehow.
Allegedly, he was injured going into the game.
Yeah, it sounds like something that's been nagging. Yeah, nagging wrist injury.
Right.
For the Packers, Jaden Reed, unfortunately, he broke his collarbone. He was in immediate pain when he got tackled. You could tell something was wrong. I thought it was either his shoulder or collarbone or ribs or something. It ended up being his collarbone, so that'll be 6 to 8 weeks for him, unfortunately.
Foot surgery, too.
Oh, yeah.
He had surgery on his foot and his collarbone at the same time.
Yep. So that's unfortunate for him and the Packers, but I guess fantasy-wise, that maybe makes Golden get more involved. Dubs has been looking good. Tucker Kraft has been on a tear, so he'd be an excellent guy to have with Reed being out. Yeah, super sad for us Packer fans. But maybe Christian Watson will come back and be good. Maybe he'll eventually come back.
For a play.
Yeah, exactly. Pull a hammy after one play.
I shouldn't say that.
But yeah, that's all we had for the middle 8. So let's move into quarter 3. All right, getting into quarter 3 now, we're going to be talking about power rankings and Marcus's tier list. So my power rankings changed a little bit. I'm sharing them on the screen for those of you watching. Ravens moved up 1 and are now the number 1 team. I believe I had the Eagles number 1 before. I don't have specifically which teams moved to where, but I have if they moved up or down. So Ravens went up to 1, Bills went up to 2, Packers went up to 3, and that meant the Eagles moved down to 4. So Eagles, for me, moved from number 1 down to number 4. I just thought the Packers have handled everyone really well so far. Bills, obviously, two great wins. Ravens dominated in week 2 after a strong week 1 showing. So that's where I'm at. I moved the Chargers up 2 above the Chiefs. So Chargers are at number 5 for me now. I just really believe in them this year. I want to keep riding that wave. Chiefs down 1, obviously, for an 0-2 start didn't look too good. They look like they've got some struggles they got to work through. Lions went up 1 to number 7. I just felt really good about their showing. Their offense came to play and alleviated some concerns about Ben Johnson being gone. So I like the Lions. Rams, I moved down 2, even though they won and looked okay. I just felt like other people moved up. Left the Buccaneers at 9, left the Commanders at 10, even though they lost to the Packers. Broncos actually moved up 2, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the Broncos. So they're now at number 11. At number 12, I put the Falcons. They just got stunted with so many field goals, but I feel like if they can iron out some of that conversion, they'll be a really solid team. Like we mentioned earlier, their defense has been looking really good and much improved. The 49ers I put in this list now at number 13. In my last list, they were not in the top 15, so they're like a new player on the list, even with Mac Jones. Purdy's already practicing a little bit, so I'm not sure if he's going to be ready for this, probably the next week, not this week, but Mac Jones did well enough, and I think the 49ers are just a good team with a good coach. Texans I left at 14, and then the Vikings are at 15. I moved them down 4 spots. So I just think with the McCarthy injury and just how he looked, I just don't trust it. But I think O'Connell can get them kind of turned around a little bit before the season's over. And then I just moved the Bengals out with that Burrow injury. They were in my list, but I think they just have to be out for now. Unless Burrow's recovery goes really well and he comes back looking strong and Browning can win some games. I just don't have a lot of faith in them anymore this year, so I just moved them out of the list. So, yeah, that's how it shakes up. Do you got any opinions on how I shook up the top or bottom of this list? I know.
Yeah, I just hear like the Texans and Vikings. I guess I'm just like, I mean, they're at the back end of the list, but they concern me for sure. I'm not saying that they're in a bad spot like on your list necessarily, but they are very concerning. They moved a little bit on mine as well. So, but that was the only ones that I heard that I really was like.
The ones I still have out of the list then are like Cowboys, Seahawks, Steelers. I don't know if I could put any of them over them. Maybe Seahawks, but
yeah, Seahawks. That would be one where that's a team that I would say is missing from the list. I would put them in over the Vikings right now because I think the Vikings quarterback situation's just as questionable as say the Bengals. So,
well, they said McCarthy 2 to 4 weeks. So if it's 4 weeks, that's still a lot less than Burrow. For 3
still
months.
Questionable.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, even when he was playing, it wasn't.
Yeah, right? He's had 7 bad quarters and 1 good quarter of football. That's where I'm like, yeah.
I agree.
I'm also a little in on Seattle's defense. So,
yeah, here's a question to throw out with the Vikings. What if Carson Wentz plays well?
I mean, totally possible. Totally possible. I'm just curious because of that offensive line, Minnesota, and some people are speculating that like, how hurt is JJ McCarthy? Are they protecting him because the offensive line? They had 2 concussions on the offensive line. Darrisaw's out. Like they might be down three of their 5 starters. So send Carl Wentz out there to sprain both of his ankles.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. So that's it for my power rankings list. Let's move on to your tier list. So it changed a little bit from last week.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what your tier list looks like now.
Yeah, I was having a hard time. I had very specific words in there, and I was specifying, and I was having a hard time kind of shaking my tier list out. So I went with emojis because it's 2025. The explanation on the emojis, I'll give you a little bit here. Championship is the trophy. The strong to me is just teams that are looking real strong right now. Trending up is obviously teams that are trending up. I'm just questioning some stuff about them. And then, the second to last one is like, I think it's technically drunk maybe, but I look at it as like like you're just like, and then obviously poop is poop. But yeah, I had a little bit of shuffle on here. I don't have my other list in front of me, but I know the Chargers moved up. Not that I feel like I was ever low on the Chargers. I just felt like they were kind of in the gray area of my mind, but I was never like down on the Chargers. So they look great. Sent them all the way up there. I moved the Eagles back. If the Eagles and Chargers faced off right now, I would be kind of scared, just the way the Eagles have been playing. So we actually have an Eagles-Rams matchup coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that in quarter 4. Lions, they went from sharded to showing off. I know they played the Bears. I thought about putting them in the strong tier, but they did play the Bears, so I want to see them do it again. I feel good about the Lions. They're at the top of the list. Colts proved themselves again, so I kept them up there. I'm just not quite. I want to see it again. Show me it again, right? And then Niners, well-coached team. I'm in on the Seahawks defense, and I think the Falcons are like, if they tune some things up, they're going to be pretty dominant. Question the Rizzler tier here. Bengals, they're 2-0, but the quarterback situation is questionable. The Chiefs, they're 0-2, but they're still the Chiefs. That's the part where I'm just like, are they bad? Broncos, same thing. They're just, to me, they're kind of not performing like themselves. Same with the Washington Commanders. Patriots looked good this week. Cowboys looked like, I don't know. They ran it up with they get the win, but they compete with the Giants. It's the Giants. Jaguars should have beat the hell out of the Bengals. Somehow found out a way to lose. Cardinals 2-0, but they beat two bad teams. The Texans just don't. They worry me on offense enough to where I'm just like, are they going to be bad or not? And then the drunk tier: Steelers, Vikings, Jets, Raiders. Titans seem like they should probably be in the poop category potentially for some, but I just really like what I've seen out of Cam Ward. Cam Ward looks like a guy that could like will a team to like 6 victories this year, 7 victories. So, but those other
they've been trending out of the poop for sure. They're trending out.
Yeah, trending out of the poop. Hell yeah. But yeah, Steelers, Vikings, Jets, Raiders. Gino looked poor. Jets got absolutely abused by the Bills. And then, yeah, the quarterback questions in Minnesota. I think Brian Flores is an absolute G on the defensive side calling the ball. So I just don't know what the quarterback situation looks like. And the Steelers are a bit of a concern. They went to the wire with the Jets in week 1, and now in week 2, they showed some undisciplined bad football. So, and then, yeah, the poop is the poop. I do think the Bears could find themselves out of the poop potentially if they play well against Dallas, just based on, I think there's some skill, there's not even like an I think. They have skill on offense. I feel like they just got to piece it together here. So, but yeah, Dolphins bottom of the list. They absolutely smell terrible. Carolina also terrible. And yeah, I don't need to get into every single piece of poop and talk about it, but you see the list. So did you have any holes to poke in this thing? Anything I didn't go over? This is probably how it's going to stay too. I like my my emojis here. This kind of feels like how it'll fluctuate here now.
Yeah, your little unknown Rizzler face you're talking about. I'm surprised you got the Cardinals up there. I mean, I think they should at least get tear down lower. I know. That's the only reason why. They played 2 bad teams.
I know. But, and I've heard other people. I listened to different podcasts throughout the week, and I listened to a certain I listened to the Greenlight podcast with Chris Long, and there's something he. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. These guys watch tape, and they're like, this is what they do for a job. They're former football players. I'm going to take their, knowledge on the game more than me. And they said that there's something about, he talks about that there's something about this Cardinals defense that's kind of good, and they have some good players. But I just don't know. I don't really love.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's why I got him in that category. So, but
I got you. I mean, I believe in James Conner and Trey Benson, and I'm just not a huge Kyler Murray fan. For defense, I think getting Will Johnson in the second round or whatever is a huge steal for them. He's helped them out a lot already. So I can see them being up a little bit. I just think they've been pretty stinky. And then the other teams I pretty much.
What do you think of the Jags being in that thing?
That's how I feel about them too. Like the kind of like unknown. Yeah, there doesn't seem like there's an identity, and it hasn't meshed well yet, and just like the concerns with Lawrence and Cohen and Brian Thomas now is becoming a concern. I just want to see them like do something that like feels good, I guess. I don't know. Like obviously they've won 1 game, right?
Yeah, they beat the Panthers though, but they beat up on the Panthers. Like they didn't do what the Cardinals did against the Panthers. They like beat the hell out of the Panthers. So, and I think that the Jaguars defense, we said it earlier, is opportunistic. Like they get turnovers. They have a pretty nasty defensive line too. So,
yeah, you got the Colts high. You believe in the Colts a lot. I'm okay with it. I don't know. I don't know if I feel as confident as you, but I like that you kind of are planting your flag with that one.
Yep. Yeah, and a reminder for the people: this is a what have you done for me lately? It is an accumulation of what has recently happened, but then also like the storybook of the season. That's how I'm doing my list here. It's not me foreshadowing. It's what these teams are looking like as they develop. I would say I if I were to replace within the tiers, because I try and kind of shuffle things around, I'd move the Texans up in front of the Patriots. I don't think the Texans are closer to an ascending team with the talent that they have and what they've shown, especially with that defense, than
their defense has shown, but their offense has been
so
it's very concerning to me, at least.
Yeah.
So they have no identity and nothing seems to be figured out. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, their defense is top tier. So if they can figure out anything on the offense, it'll be good.
Anything. I mean, they've given up 14 points and 19 points?
Yeah.
Or 20 points, I guess. But I mean, it's like, golly. So
I gotta do
that's
some-
my tier list.
I like it.
What have you done for me lately?
Love it. All right, that's it for quarter three. Let's get into quarter four. All right, kicking off quarter four here, we're going to talk about our picks for week three and get into Quad Box, talk about kind of what are the games we're excited to watch this week, and then end the show with "You Love to See It" as always. So let's start off week three. Miami Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 11.5 points at home. I will start out here and say I'm going with Miami, which is going to be interesting. I just think the point spread is too big. I believe in Buffalo a lot, and I don't believe in Miami a lot, but I think the point spread is just one of those ones where everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, Buffalo's going to easily take this one, and then all of a sudden Miami has a couple plays and Buffalo struggles for a quarter or two, and it's going to be a little bit closer than people think, in my opinion. What do you think?
Sure. I'll take Buffalo. I think
not surprised.
Yeah, they just dog walked the Jets, and I see what the Ravens did to the Browns, and I think the Bills are far and away superior than the Dolphins. I get what you're saying though. You get a backdoor cover, fourth quarter, Bills are up by 12, and then all of a sudden they hit like a big bomb to Tyreek or something like that.
That's the only way I see it. Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
Bills dominate Bills dominate the entire thing until the Dolphins, until Mitch Trubisky's in the game for Buffalo. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but I think it'll be an absolute beating.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. Las Vegas Raiders at Washington Commanders. Washington is favored by 3 points at home in this one. Who do you have?
Gosh, this is a tough one, actually, because I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play. And I don't know. The Raiders just look so bad. I think I'm going to go with Washington on this one. And even if Marcus Mariota plays instead of Jaden Daniels, it'd be the Mariota revenge game. So fired up. I'll take Washington -3.
Yep, I'm on Washington as well. I just think they're like, everyone views them as a better team, and I have not liked anything I've seen from the Raiders so far. So until they can prove me wrong, I'm pretty much picking the other team. So we're both on Washington for that one. Next game is Atlanta at Carolina. On the road, Atlanta's favored by 5.5 points. I am taking Carolina here. I think Carolina at home can keep it within 5.5 points. I do believe more in Atlanta, but I don't know. I just think 5.5 is a lot at home, and I can see the Carolina Panthers just kind of like getting a win or getting close to a win week 3, just based on what's happened so far.
Yeah, I am taking Atlanta, the 5.5.
Nice.
I really think what they are doing on offense, obviously, like once they get flowing and going, things are going to look pretty good. But that defense, I'm going to put it on record. James Pierce is getting a sack this weekend. So
there you go. Maybe Ted will get a touchdown this week for me. I'll put that on record too.
There you go. You just say it every week until he gets.
Yeah, yeah. But I missed last week. All right. Cool. Next is Green Bay at Cleveland. On the road, Green Bay favored 7.5. I'll go first with this one. I'll take Green Bay. They've looked really strong this year. Cleveland, not so much. I want to see Green Bay prove it on the road. That's going to be one of the games, obviously, as a Packer fan, I'll tune into, but I want to see them win by more than a touchdown. I want to see them actually handle business. I want to see a sack or two from Micah. I want to see how the receivers do without Jaden Reed in there. So yeah, give me Green Bay, and it's going to be fun to watch.
All right. I'm taking Cleveland not to win, but I'll take them to cover. I don't know what the Packers' offensive line situation is. If you can update me, I don't know if you have any injury updates, but I think with watching what Cleveland did with Baltimore over the weekend, they limited the run game, and I think Baltimore's pass game is better than Green Bay's pass game, and so I think the Packers will still win, but I don't think they're going to be able to sling it through the air. I think Myles Garrett's going to cause a little bit of an issue, and I think they're going to struggle running the ball maybe just a little bit. So that's kind of the lean that I have. I still think the Packers will win, but I think Cleveland will cover the 7.5.
Sure. All right, I like it. And in terms of the Green Bay, I don't actually know about injuries. I think they had a couple guys banged up, but I think as a whole, the unit will play fine. But Myles Garrett is a tough cookie. Pittsburgh at New England Patriots. Pittsburgh on the road favored 1.5. I'll let you go first. Who do you have for this game?
This one's another tough one for me because I want to believe in Pittsburgh again, but I feel like they've kind of been biting me here, and I feel like New England looked pretty good. So I'm gonna take. This is just me picking one right here. I'll take New England with the points here. I just think New England played well last week. I just don't know what Pittsburgh is, and if this might be the Travion Henderson game. Put that down on the record because if Pittsburgh's defense is going to continue to be as leaky as it is on the ground, they're just going to keep running it away from T.J. Watt. There's a little spray chart out there on social media that showed all of Seattle's runs went the opposite side of T.J. Watt. So if they're going to put that on tape, I think it's going to get exploited. So I'll take New England plus 1.5.
Nice. It's good knowledge. I will take New England as well. I'm a believer in them. I'm sort of planting my flag. I just don't necessarily believe in Pittsburgh this year. Of course, they're always going to eke out 8 wins, but I don't think this is one of them. I think Patriots are gonna win this one, so I'll take them. Next one, LA Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored 3.5 at home. Is it me first this time? Forget.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I'll pick the Eagles 3.5 here at home. I think they can cover that. Rams are a tough team. I don't know if that's gonna cause issues, but I think at home Eagles will kind of iron out some of the passing game stuff and win by more than a field goal.
Yeah. Although I saw the Rams put one of their starting corners on the injured reserve, I still think the Rams offense is tough to deal with. And although the Eagles, beat them last year, I think in the Eagles playoff run, the Rams were the closest to really putting it to the Eagles in that snow game, and we're real close to not having a Super Bowl appearance. So I'm going to take the Rams with the plus 3.5. I still think the Eagles will win, but 3.5 is a lot for an offense that's pretty good. And so far from what I've seen out of the Eagles, that if they get behind it all here, their offensive line's been playing a little bit weak. The defensive line for the Rams are going to be chips on their shoulders. They're pissed off about last year, Jared Verse, those guys. So I'm going to go with the Rams here plus 1.5 or 3.5.
Nice. Next one, Indy, your favorite team, versus Tennessee Titans. Titans are at home, but on the road, Indianapolis is favored 4.5 points. Who do you have?
I am actually going to take the points with Tennessee here. 4.5 is a lot. And I think, although I've been on the Colts and I like the Colts and I think they've been playing well, I think Tennessee has shown enough with Cam Ward that, it's a road game. It's in division. It's going to be hot in Tennessee. The Colts, their 2 games have been home games. They started the season at home, so this is their first road game. Yep. So 4.5 feels like a lot for this one. I think the Colts can win this one, but I would say the Titans cover this.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one. I'm taking Tennessee as well. For a lot of similar reasons. I think Indianapolis, their first game on the road, and Tennessee, I think, is just going to show some flashes finally. There's been little flashes here and there, but I think they're going to give the fans something to hold out hope for. So I'm going to take Tennessee in this one as well. Next is New York Jets at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay almost touchdown favorite at home, 6.5 points. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I think they've looked really good this year. New York Jets have the backup quarterback and Tyrod Taylor. I just believe in Baker. They're going to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for all of the same reasons. I think again, Jets traveling down to Tampa Bay. It's hot in Tampa Bay in September, and I just think Tampa's going to be coming out on fire in all cylinders. So not to completely repeat what you said, but Tyrod Taylor back up. I'll take Tampa Bay.
Nice. Sweet. Cincinnati at Minnesota. The home Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3. So who do you have?
This one's tough because I feel like 3 is a lot. And I think last time Jake Browning played the Vikings, it was in Cincinnati, I think maybe last year, and he ended up coming out on top. I think the outlier here, the I don't know, the piece to the puzzle is Brian Flores and what he's going to do to their offense with Jake Browning. I think Van Ginkel's out of concussion protocol, so he'll be back. And that offensive line for Cincinnati's bad. So as I was talking here, I think I talked myself into the Vikings Did I actually? Because they have backup offensive linemen. They got Carson Wentz out there. I think 3's a lot. So
You just questioned as you said it.
Yeah, as I'm talking about all of the reasons why I was going to go against Cincinnati is kind of the same reasons why I go against Minnesota. So, shoot, I don't know. I'll take Minnesota. I'm going to take my guy. This is just me guessing here. I'm going to take. I mean, it is all guess. I'll take Carson Wentz. I'm going to cheer for my guy, number 11 out there.
I like it. I have Minnesota as well. I actually feel pretty good about this one. I don't know.
Really?
I do. I don't know why. Could be foolish. But yeah, Browning's a capable quarterback with great weapons, but I think the Minnesota defense and at home, and I think Carson Wentz is actually probably going to look pretty good.
I hope so.
In contrast to how McCarthy looked last game, I think Wentz will help the team move the ball a little bit. He'll just kind of, I don't know, command the offense in a way that works, and they'll have enough to win at home. So I'll go Minnesota too. Then Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville at home is favored by 2.5 against the Texans. I was a little bit surprised to see that, just based on how everything's gone. They still found that way to lose against the Bengals. I will go with Houston in this one, I think, even on the road. I just want to see their offense click. If their offense does anything, they're going to win the game. Like, that's just how it is. So I'll take Houston.
Yeah, I expect a defensive battle here for this one since the Houston offense is so bad and Houston's defense is so good. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is due for some sort of goofy interception. Brian Thomas didn't want to get hit. Well, welcome to Houston. Welcome in Houston where they love to hit. So this one's actually really tough for me to pick. I will probably have to pick. I'm going to go with Houston here.
Yeah, they're the underdogs if it's close.
Yeah. I'll take the points with Houston. Nice. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Next one, New Orleans at Seattle. Seattle's 7.5-point favorites. Who do you have?
I will take Seattle in this one. I think I know the Saints have been playing better than we probably anticipated, but I think going into Seattle and Seattle's just going to be, buzzing off of a big win, Pittsburgh, and home game in front of the 12s. And so, I don't know. I'm going to go with the 7.5 and big win here by Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle as well. This is I feel like it's a very big point spread to cover. Like, it's going to be tough for them, but I think this is going to be, they lost their first game at home. So I think this is going to be one where they actually do well at home, give their fans something to cheer for. I think Rattlers actually looked competent and pretty decent, but yeah, I'll definitely take Seattle at home here. It's like I said, it's a tough point spread to cover, but I think they will. Then Denver at Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers at home, favored 2.5. I'm not backing down here. I still have my flag planted with the Chargers. I'm taking them in this one. I think this one's going to open people's eyes about what this division looks like, and I think the Chargers are better than the Broncos this year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I am done picking against the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers. They look good. Like I said, they kind of ended up in this gray area for me where I know they're a good team. I love Harbaugh. I love Herbert. I love the weapons. The defense is nice. So I don't know why I've had them just kind of not in my thoughts. So I think, I'll take them. Have a big game against Denver.
Nice. Sweet. Next game, Arizona at San Francisco with Mac Jones at home. San Francisco. Well, Brock Purdy's practiced, but I'm guessing it's gonna be Mac Jones. So
yeah, I'll say Shanahan said there's a chance. But
I would go with one more week of Mac Jones.
For sure.
Even with that, though, I'll take San Francisco -1.5. I just don't believe in the Cardinals as much. I know you were just talking about how there's some promising stuff there, but I think the 49ers at home can cover 1.5 points, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm going with the Niners as well. Again, I was listening to whatever, the McAfee show today, and they did a breakdown of the Niners offensive line, and they played much better. McCaffrey is really close to being fully back. So I just think the Niners are going to start to get it rolling. And are we going to have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco if Mac Jones goes out and balls another couple of weeks? Yeah. But I'll take San Francisco -1.5.
All right. Dallas at Chicago. This one was a little surprising to me as well. Chicago at home is favored 1.5. I'm interested to see who you have for this one.
I'm taking Dallas on this one. The 1.5 is things crazy. There's something I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving too much credit to CeeDee Lamb. Maybe I'm giving too much credit to George Pickens and Dak Prescott and Jake Ferguson. And I think BB, their center, might be out. I think he had a concussion. So, like, there's something to there. But on the other side, Chicago's missing Jalen Johnson, their top cornerback. So I just think they're gonna light it up. And I guess we'll find out if what Caleb Williams does against Dallas's defense.
Yep. Yeah, you're making me question mine a little bit more. I'm actually picking Chicago here, and the reasons I have is I thought they actually did look okay against the Lions until it all fell apart. Like, I think when they were in the game it was okay, and then when they were out of the game it was not good. But I think things are going to regress to the mean a little bit here. The Bears are going to look better. The Cowboys are coming off that like euphoric high of the last second win or whatever. So I think it's going to be Chicago. I'll take them in this one.
All right.
Kansas City at New York Giants. Kansas City on the road favored 5.5. Even though the Giants put up a ton of points last game, Kansas City's 0-2. They're not going to start 0-3. They're going to win by at least 5.5. That's only 2 field goals. So 2 field goals or a touchdown. I'll take Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City too. This feels like a game they get right, but can you imagine if Mahomes starts out 0-3, and this would be
because of the Giants?
The loss this past weekend was the first time Mahomes has ever started out or had a 3-game losing streak in his career. So he lost the Super Bowl and then 2 to start the season. So
wow,
kind of tidbit there.
Yep. So we're both on KC there. All right. Last game of the week, Detroit at Baltimore. So Detroit just came off a huge game against the Bears. Baltimore came off with a huge win as well. Baltimore at home's favored 5.5. Who do you have?
This one's really tough. 5.5 feels like a lot of points. But I think, oh gosh, hold on. Let me set this cat down here. I'm going to take Baltimore in this one. I'm going to take the -5.5. I think their defense, again, as you've probably learned here, I love defense. And I think their defense is going to be pretty suffocating on that side of the ball. And I just think they're the better team right now, and especially on defense. And I'm just going to take it. 5.5 is a lot, but I'm going to go with it. I don't really have a good reason, but it's just a gut feel, I guess.
Yep. I love it. I'm with you. I just talked about my power rankings. I moved Baltimore up to 1. I'm sticking with that. I think they're going to handle business at home here. Detroit obviously looked good against Chicago, but they're not going to get the same type of stuff against Baltimore. That defense is solid, and the Ravens are going to run the ball a lot better than they did last week. So give me Baltimore at home in that one. So we'll see how this week shakes out. We actually had a lot of different picks, so I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to Quad Box. What of all those games, what are 4 that you're going to have up at the same time on Sunday slate?
I want to Eagles are always going to be on, so I might that's going to be on for me. So I might take them out of my Quad Box here and tell you the 4 other games that I might be interested in here. So I have Houston at Jacksonville. I'm curious to see what Jacksonville looks like in that Houston defense, and I feel like I've watched both Jags games, and now I'm just kind of invested a little bit. I'm going to have the Colts-Titans game. Again, I've been in on the Colts, been enjoying watching them, so that'll be on. And then I have the Steelers at Patriots. I want to find if we can find some truth to that. What team is who is actually who in that one? And then my last one is Denver at Chargers, because I think as you've talked about, Chargers are a fun team right now. So those would be my 4. If I had to sub one out, obviously, Eagles Rams is going to be something I'm watching there too. So I'm bad at this Quad Box thing. I feel like I give 5 or 6 games every week.
So wait, you had Houston Jacksonville too, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think we have the same Quad Box, or
same quad.
I have Pittsburgh Patriots, I have Houston Jacksonville, Denver Chargers, but I have Green Bay Cleveland.
Okay,
so close.
I'll sub one out. I'll sub one of mine out, because one of those games is probably going to get bad, and then that Cincinnati Minnesota one, and that one honestly might end up in. I might take a look and see what the point spread is in some of these games, but I think I'm very curious. I have the Carson Wentz
It's like the Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards, but it's Battle of the Backups there.
Exactly. So
It'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's end it on a high note.
Yes,
It's like what
sir.
we've been doing lately. You love to see it. What are some
Love to
things that
see it.
you love to see in week 2?
Yeah. Well, I don't. Was it? Did you have Chubb and
I
yours at
didn't
all?
have that. Oh,
Okay, so I'll say it was in the same game because I sent you a text and it was when Nick Chubb
yep.
broke out, scored a touchdown. Love seeing that after the guy had thought he was gonna like lose his damn leg on that one primetime game we watched, split in half. So love to see that. But from that game, that was my initial. You love to see it, but then Baker Mayfield went and did what he did. He's an absolute dog, and to have a guy go to Cleveland, win Rookie of the Year, and then win a playoff game, and then get cast away, and then the journey he's had. He was playing damn scout team like punt block or something. He was on scout team safety for like the Panthers or something like that. All bad teams too. Browns bad, Panthers bad. Could use probably Baker Mayfield, but he's found his home in Tampa Bay, and he's really fun to watch. Like to me, they're like a real threat, and they have been the last few years as far as like a playoff team. The defense is good. I also have a little stat that I heard. I heard it from Bruce Arians, so that's my source that I'm going to cite. Former Tampa Bay legend, Tampa Bay Super Bowl winning coach. But he said since going to Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield has led the league in passing touchdowns and fourth quarter passing touchdowns. So I should probably do some research, but I also don't know why Bruce Arians would be telling a bunch of lies on Pat McAfee show. So
Baker's a dog.
Baker Mayfield going out there, game winning drive to seal it, getting dinged up, getting cocky, talking shit. You love to see it.
Yeah. Awesome. I got just a couple quick ones. I like seeing the Chargers roll. I just think they're on a mission this season. I want to see them continue doing well like that. Lions offense putting up 50 points. That was pretty fun. Good to see them kind of come back. And my last one is Drake May. You referenced it earlier. He's one of my guys, and it was good to see him come out and perform. He's got great scrambling ability. His processing is going really well for a young guy. Like to see him do well. He only had like 4 incompletions and had a couple touchdowns, so it was really fun to watch him do well, and hopefully he continues to grow this year. So that's what I had.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. All right, that's it for our whole episode. That makes it to the 4th quarter. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.